Have you seen Donald Trump's new campaign t-shirts? They are absolutely epic. And in this particular case, he is telling the truth. How many of you have seen the leaked video of Governor DeSantis way back in 2018 doing debate prep, where in essence what he's trying to do is keep Donald Trump's voters from falling on the floor, holding their breath, throwing a tantrum, and screaming if he tells the truth. Personally, if it was me, I would be mortified and embarrassed if somebody had leaked video of someone saying, gosh, how can I say this to Florida Maquis without him getting completely out of control, falling into a rage and storming off? If somebody was doing that, I would be mortified at my own behavior. Now, those of you who think that all I do is rip on Donald Trump, not today. He actually did something right. And if he would continue down this road, he would absolutely have more success than he's ever seen in his entire life. I hope he does. But after we show this, we're then going to show some facts. And if these facts, any of them, applied to Ron DeSantis, you guys would be losing your minds. Now, real quick, before we go to the video, before we watch the clip of Donald Trump, I just always want to be diligent and say thank you to everyone who continues to join us here, Florida Maquis YouTube channel. I know it's a controversial channel. I know some people think, Florida Maquis, you said that you weren't going to support DeSantis because of the thing with Rubin. I was upset. I was absolutely upset at the time. I thought maybe he was courting the LGBTQ vote, but there was that one event that one time, and there's virtually no video of it, and he's let the entire thing go, so I'm giving the guy a second chance. You see, Trump supporters have forgiven dozens and dozens of things that are giant red flags with Donald Trump, but when I forgive one thing with Ron DeSantis, somehow that makes me a sellout. But anyway, join us over the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. $1 per month. That's it. What's the difference with Vimeo? We can put videos over there that we couldn't put here. We can take the gloves off and just let it all hang out, so to speak, and tell the real story of what's coming and what we need to do to prepare for it. And I'm not going to waste a lot of your time. Up to 90 days, fully refundable. Fully refundable, so no risk to you. Now, let's watch a recent clip put out by Donald Trump's campaign.
It's morning again in America. And thanks to Joe Biden, our borders are now wide open for all to come. Our schools free from parental involvement. Mediocre male athletes now given the opportunity to compete unfairly. Under Biden's unprecedented inflation, the hope of home ownership gone, and young adults forced to abandon seeking the American dream to live in their parents' basement longer. Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan left billions in weapons behind, and American lives taken. Our police ranks now shrinking, yet Biden spends billions creating an army of 80,000 new IRS agents. Why would we ever accept the incompetence and weakness of Biden when we could have the freedom, security, and economic prosperity we enjoyed just 3 years ago?
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Now, that is an absolutely spectacular video. Nothing said about DeSantis, not attacking anybody who's on the same side. But mark my words, I'm sure a lot of people are like, what does this have to do with that? Many people in my audience are not old enough to remember what happened way back in 92. What was this, 31 years ago? You see, you believe what the mainstream media tells you about the Clinton years. Bill Clinton did not win in the arena of ideas in 1992. Many people remember Clinton and then George H.W. Bush, and they vilified the entire Bush family. We've got the receipts from Donald Trump on this, by the way, having endorsed Bush himself, a couple of different Bushes, actually, and voted for. He actually voted for Clinton as well. But this is what's going to happen. You see, in 1992, there was a third-party candidate named Ross Perot that pulled 20 million votes. Didn't win a single electoral vote. but pulled just enough votes to cause Bill Clinton to get a plurality. You see, Ross Perot was ultra right. It was every Perot vote would have gone for George W. Bush. Nobody who supported Perot supported Bill Clinton at all. And what would have happened if Perot would have dropped out of the race? It would have been 57-43. It would have been a shellacking. To give you an idea, the race here in Florida against Charlie Crist, DeSantis won 59-41, only 2-point swing, both directions. That's how bad the shellacking would have been. Now, I know a lot of you go, I hate Bush. The Bushes are terrible. The Bushes are horrible. They're so evil. Let's keep the receipts, shall we? Trump sought to be George H.W. Bush's VP, and this is well-documented fact way back in 1988 when Reagan was leaving office. And, more recently, you ready for this? Quote from Donald Trump, the only Bush who got it right. George P. Bush. Donald Trump endorsed him in Texas, and he endorsed him back. So believe me, Donald Trump has no problem with the Bushes. I've heard all this, DeSantis is Bush 3.0. If you want to have connections between George Bush and the Bush family and the Trumps, no problem. The receipts are out there. It's not even up for debate. You're going to love this. Donald Trump 2000 presidential campaign. How many of you know that Donald Trump was running for president back in 2000? New York real estate magnate Donald Trump announced the creation of a presidential exploratory committee. You see, Ron DeSantis hasn't even done that yet. On October 7, 1999, Larry King Live. Although Trump had never held elected office, he was well known for his frequent comments on public affairs and business exploits as head of the Trump Organization. You see, another big lie. Donald Trump's an ordinary man. He's never been involved in politics. He's not part of the swamp. Complete lie. He previously considered a presidential run in 1988 as a Republican, but chose not to run. For 2000, Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura persuaded Trump to seek the presidential nomination of the Reform Party. He was in that party with Lenora Fulani, who was associated with Farrakhan, Pat Buchanan, and David Duke, which was fracturing despite achieving ballot access and qualifying for matching funds as a result of businessman Ross Perot's 1996 presidential campaign on the party's ticket. Trump, now you ready for this? Sit down. Sit down. Trump focused his campaign on the issues of fair trade, eliminating the national debt, okay, that's good, and achieving universal health care. As outlined in the campaign companion piece, The America We Deserve, and I'll give you the link to the book. Yes, that's right. Even before Barack Obama wanted universal health care, guess who was trumpeting it? Donald Trump. It gets better. He named media proprietor Oprah Winfrey as his ideal running mate and said he would instantly marry his girlfriend, Melania Knauss, to make her first lady. Critics questioned the seriousness of Trump's campaign, blah, 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 but he was serious about this. Stone was his director of his exploratory committee. And because the polls didn't really go his way, he decided to back out of it. But here's the crazy part. After the election, Trump gained greater fame as the host of The Apprentice on NBC. He also notably considered running as a Republican in the 2012 presidential election against Barack Obama, but instead endorsed and supported eventual nominee Mitt Romney. So let's get this. Let's keep the receipts now. We've got Trump attempting to be George Bush Sr.'s VP in '88, and then voting for Clinton, and then endorsing George P. Bush, who then endorsed him back, and then also endorsing Mitt Romney. Has Ron DeSantis done any of that? Has Ron DeSantis done any of that? In his history with the Clintons, I'll give you the link to this. There are so many quotes. I could take up the next 15 minutes reading quotes, separate quotes from Donald Trump praising Bill Clinton, praising Hillary Clinton, talking about how wonderful she is and how she'd be a fantastic public servant. There are so many confirmed factual quotes. If Ron DeSantis had said even one of these things, CNN interview 2007. Oh, by the way, did you hear Donald Trump's going to be on CNN this week in their town halls? That's true. Look it up. Look up Donald Trump's CNN town hall 2023. Then running for president for the first time, was a terrific person who would do a good job cutting a nuclear deal with Iran because, quote, she always surrounded herself with very good people. I mean, the quotes go on and on. Greta Van Susteren, Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. He said, I am biased because I have known her for years. I live in New York. She lives in New York. I really like her and her husband both a lot. I think she really works hard. And I think, again, she's given an agenda. It's not all of her, but I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job. I like her. Factual quote from Donald Trump. Has Governor DeSantis ever once praised Hillary Clinton? No. All he's done is ban China from owning farmland in Florida, keeping them away from our military bases. He stood up against CRT. He stood up against virtually everything the left has tried to do. And he's kept our free republic in Florida safe from Washington, D.C. Part of me wishes he would not, because I just don't think the rest of America is ready. He's put in civics education to teach kids about how important it is to vote at the local level. He has banned digital money that the government would use to control us. Exposed DEI. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tax relief all across the board. We don't have state taxes. Education reform. He even stood up our own militia, our own private military force, to fight back against Washington, D.C. All this while his wife was fighting cancer, by the way. Infrastructure repairs. Water protection. He stood up against Fauci while Donald Trump was giving Fauci a medal, the Freedom Medal. We were selling merch in Florida saying, don't Fauci our Florida. And if you think that's a lie, look it up. Donald Trump did award Anthony Fauci the Medal of Freedom. It goes on and on and on and on. I mean, just look up the facts for yourself. Look up the facts for yourself. I know you don't like the truth. There's a preference. Who said the quote that truth tellers are rarely palatable? There is a preference for candy bars. There was a quote to that, something like that, paraphrasing that especially the American people have a preference for candy bar, and Donald Trump is the biggest. Well, we'll leave it there. Telling his people what they want to hear. But mark my words, if things go this way, this is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. You see, DeSantis would never run as an independent. If the Republican Party decided to nominate Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis would get behind him. He may not agree with him on everything, but he'd get behind him. So would all of the other Republicans that have decided that they want to take a shot at it. But if, just like in 2015, if the Republican Party would decide not to nominate Donald Trump, see, Donald Trump would hold his breath, fall on the floor, roll around, take his ball, and go home. He wouldn't support anyone. See, just to continue with the debates and continue vying, they made Donald Trump sign a pledge. Back in 2016, they made him sign a pledge saying, Donald Trump, if you want to get the Republican nomination, you've got to agree to support whoever wins. He didn't at first, but then he relented, made a big deal of it, and then he reneged. I pray the Republican Party has learned not to trust the man. So, you may not like me for telling you the truth, but I showed you exactly what needed to be done. This is what needed to be done. Make Joe Biden the enemy again. We've heard about Make America Great Again. How about making Joe Biden the enemy again? But not at the expense, don't sacrifice the good for the perfect. Because this is what was going on back then. This was what was going on back then. Clinton got clobbered on the ideas. He lost to two conservatives. Bush, the regular conservative, and Ross Perot, the ultra-right conservative. But they split the vote. They split the vote, and that handed the presidency with a 43% minority to Bill Clinton. The reason we even know who Hillary Clinton is because of Ross Perot acting like a petulant child back in 92. Let's just pray Donald Trump can set aside his ego if he doesn't get the nomination. And now with this E. Jean Carroll thing, it's going to be very, very hard, very difficult for the Republican Party to nominate him. So, I will leave it there. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week so far. I know we don't always agree, but the facts are the facts. Would love to have you join us at Patreon. It's $1. That's it. There's a $5 level. If you want to step up, that would be absolutely fantastic. We're going to be doing some new videos coming up in the end of this week and this coming weekend that are going to wake up a lot of people. I know I've said some controversial things about when the economy starts to really collapse and when things start to really fall apart and get out of control. I know it's controversial advice. I know a lot of people that I've supported in the past on here, like Lisa Haven or Patriot Nurse or Gen Vets for Truth or Southern Prepper One or BP Earthwatch, they probably wouldn't agree with a lot of what I say. That's fine. I don't agree with everything they say. But we all have the same goal. I truly believe that's why I support them. I truly believe they're being genuine, that they are telling you what they believe. So I will leave it there. God bless. Have a wonderful week. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.